and that would mean that something is up. All right, here we go. Here's the update for you, and we'll be back with you as soon as possible to cover more of this with you and to try to give you a perspective on how to think about it. There's no need to be in fear of any of it. So, not even a day after the U.S. Army parade, Trump leaves the G7 summit abruptly. Trump departed the G7 summit earlier today, citing rapidly evolving national security matters. There we go. Rapidly evolving national security matters. His motorcade returned to Andrews Air Force Base, and he is confirmed to be in the White House situation room as of a few hours earlier tonight. So he's there with his cabinet. That is the room. That's where you plan for and conduct war or operations, whether they're overt, covert, or whatever. This is where the hammer comes down. All right, so full cabinet level security briefing underway with Trump's National Security Council. Those are his closest advisors, the NSC. Also, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, that would be the military, the highest ranking military officials, and CENTCOM. That's where we coordinate our war efforts from. They're all reportedly on alert. What this signals is that there is an imminent wartime decision-making posture. So our country, our government is currently in a posture that you would be in before you strike. These high-level briefings typically precede authorizations of strikes. It could just be to get ready. Too. It could be ready. They may be expecting something, or they may be planning something. The fact that Trump left unplanned means that we're probably planning something. It could be a shift in the DEFCON, which is defense condition. It could be a response in planning in case of U.S. Personnel casualties or nuclear escalation. So what this is really most likely has to do with is the Israel-Iran conflict. I guess we can call it a war. Israel continues airstrikes across Iran, including key infrastructure near Natanz, raising fears of nuclear material exposure. Yeah, so when they bombed the nuclear facility there, that probably should have caused a problem. And Iran is striking back with drones and missiles, including barrages toward Tel Aviv and U.S. allied Erbil. U.S. sniffer planes have been deployed to monitor for nuclear fallout. That suggests concern about radiological events. Whether it's accidental or tactical, we don't know. Most likely at this point, it's you couldn't call it accidental if they bombed the facility where they're trying to make nuclear weapons. That wouldn't be an accident, but it wouldn't be a tactical use of radiological weapons. All right, so what we know is U.S. forces are on alert. Multiple U.S. assets have been repositioned in the Persian Gulf and the Eastern Mediterranean. And here's the big news. I guess if there's a bigger piece to this, right now, Donald Trump has issued a massive civilian warning to evacuate Tehran. This is unusual. It's unusual. Intelligence sources confirm U.S. embassies and bases are on high alert. So something's up, folks. Something is up. Now, if we get down between the lines, when a president leaves a global summit and enters a situation room, it usually means one of three things is about to happen. We're about to strike somebody. Somebody has crossed a red line. That means we're going to strike somebody. Or U.S. personnel are under a threat, have been hit, and a retaliation or rapid response is coming, is required from us. So what you need to pay attention to in the next between now and tomorrow morning, look out for live announcements or leaks from inside the Pentagon or the White House. I think, Twitter is in large part a dumpster fire, but, it might be a good place to, because you can get video, it might be a good place to keep tabs on things. There are also, I would, at this point, I would probably point you over to Prepper Now. Let me show you who Prepper Now. Because Prepper Now does a good, he aggregates information. And I've always liked his report on Substack. Yeah, that's where I need to be. It's on Substack. Bear with me for a second while I get this. I still don't know how to use Substack. It's embarrassing. So if you go to Prepper Now on YouTube, you can listen. He does a good job of giving updates. I'd like, promote the guy. Yeah, here we go. This is a good source. There we go. Now this is a pretty good resource for finding out what's going on that you want here in the news. Here, Prepper's Substack. There we go. So he puts out a report pretty much every day, and it's an aggregate. It's an aggregate of reporting from all around many different sources. You can see. Let's see. This one is from today. Here he's got a global intel channel. I don't know what this is, but you want to check it out while we're here? I thought I was done for the day, but we got stuff happening here. Yeah, that's because there we go. The URL was wrong. Here we go. Global Intel channel. I don't know. What the guy here. You don't have anything. You don't have anything new. Anyway. All right. So Iranian missiles did hit the, according to this report anyway, hit the Haifa, it's in, Israel power plant, and immediately the lights shut off. U.S. Embassy and consulate in Israel will remain closed. They were closed today. The Iranian, I guess it's early morning there now. They're going to remain closed all day. The Iranian missile only fell a few hundred meters from the U.S. Embassy in Israel. Look at that. That might have something to do with why Trump is rushing back to get in the Situation Room there. They got pretty close to hitting the U.S. Embassy. Chance of death to Israel, death to America. Nothing new there. But anyway, I wanted to point this out to you because Prepper Now aggregates these messages from all around social media and other places. And it's a really useful resource for you don't know who's telling the truth and who's spinning propaganda, but when you can get a large volume of information, it helps you get a clearer picture about what's happening. Yeah, here's the Geopolitics Watch. I think Telegram might be a good resource to find out with a little more accuracy what's happening. All right. Yeah, also earlier today, Netanyahu claimed that Iran had attempted made attempts on Trump's life 2 times. I think we knew of one, but he said it was 2 times. All right, so there's that. Let me jump back. All right. Watch for these announcements. Listen for confirmed U.S. combat operations or troop movement orders. Listen for any kind of mobilization or airspace closure in the Middle East. That will be a tip. Listen for joint resolutions or emergency authorizations that might come out of. You'll find that on at whitehouse.gov. Those kind of orders will come out. You can find those on those Twitter channels too. But point is, here we're on the brink. This would be the most serious U.S. wartime posture shift in years. No shots fired by the U.S. yet, but the architecture is being assembled in real time. Piers Morgan's claim that America is not involved in this war at this moment is technically correct regarding direct military action in the Israel-Iran conflict. Official U.S. statements, including from President Trump and Secretary of State Rubio, deny participation in Israel strikes on Iran. However, evidence suggests indirect involvement through intelligence sharing, logistical aid like refueling Israeli planes. Clearly we are involved to some degree. And we certainly do give missile defense support. I mean, we're involved in at least two wars right now. Question is, are we going to start, are our assets going to start dropping warheads on foreheads anytime soon? The U.S. is also deeply engaged in diplomacy, pushing for de-escalation and nuclear talks with Iran. Yeah, that got kicked to the curb when Israel struck. So, while we're not at war right now, there is a posture toward it. The U.S. support for Israel and regional military presence imply a significant role with a potential for escalation. As once again, Trump, in an emergency fashion, left the G7 in a big hurry to get back to Washington, and the reports are he met with his National Security Council in the Situation Room, which is where wars are conducted. Okay, that's all we have for you now. God bless you, my friends. Thank you for being with us here tonight. And stay tuned to Armor of Truth Substack for information about this. You can stay tuned to Armor of Truth on YouTube, of course. And the community tab, the community section, where Summer puts out lots of whenever we need to, put out updates there. Also, we're on Twitter and Instagram, and we'll do our best to keep you informed of, what you need to know. Always through the lens of the Christian worldview, with Scripture as the foundation, because that's where truth is, and that's what we stand on. So, God bless you, my friends. We'll see you next time. Here's some very encouraging words from Mark Robinson, and I suggest you heed them.
Because I don't hate anybody. And I want to see every single solitary person on this earth. I want to see their soul saved. Every single solitary person. And each and every one of us that calls ourselves a Christian should pray vehemently for their souls, that we would see them in heaven and forget about all this when we get up there.